welcome back to my channel. My name is Andrea and today I am sharing a Farmhouse fall themed tiered tray. Everything is from Dollar Tree along with a few fun Cricut DIYs mixed in. So let's jump right in. For my tiered tray, I'm using two burner covers from Dollar Tree, a larger one and a smaller one. I'm spray painting both burner covers white, and it did take several coats to cover them. I'm using this brown acrylic paint and dry brushing it onto the burner covers. This gives it more of a lightly distressed farmhouse look, which I really like. And I'm focusing more on the edges of the trays and also some distressing on the tops. Here are the two trays, all painted and distressed. For the center post of the tray, I'm using this tube from a roll of Cricut vinyl. The tubes are really sturdy, much more robust than just a paper towel roll. I'm cutting it down to the size I want with a knife. I spray painted the tube with the same white spray paint, then sanded off some of the paint, revealing the brown roll underneath. And I think this gives it such a cool, distressed look with really very minimal effort. I'm using some E6000 glue to attach all the parts of the tiered tray together. I'll show you the finished tiered tray at the end, but for now, we're moving on to making all the minis to go on the tray, starting with a wood bead pumpkin. I'm using 56 wood beads along with some floral wire. I cut 4 pieces of the floral wire into 20-inch sections. I'm folding all the floral wire pieces in half, then I'm taking 2 at a time and twisting them together to form 2 X's. Then I'm twisting the 2 X's together so all the floral wire pieces are twisted together at the center. I'm taking my wood beads and threading them onto the wire, 7 beads on each section. I got this pack of beads on sale at Michael's, but you can also find them on Amazon. And as always, I'll have everything that I can linked below for you to check out. Now it's time to turn this into a pumpkin. I'm pulling each of the strands up toward each other in the center, then I'll twist all the excess floral wire together at the top. I'm using this twine and I'm going to wrap it around the floral wire at the top of the pumpkin. I'm just putting on as much as I think is needed until it looks like a nice pumpkin stem. Once the stem is complete, I'm cutting off all the excess wire at the top, and then I'm adding some hot glue just to keep the twine in place. And I'm adding in a little piece of greenery onto the top of the pumpkin. And this is our wood bead pumpkin complete. Today's video is part of the monthly Sunday Funday challenge hosted by Yanni and Diane from Deco Easy and Trish and Kay from the Crafting Cousins. I'll have the playlist linked below if you want to check it out, along with both of their channels. Next, I'm making a stack of mini faux books using tumbling tower blocks from Dollar Tree. For this DIY, I'm using 24 blocks, and I'm arranging them so they are 4 blocks high, 2 blocks wide, and 3 blocks deep. Then I'm hot gluing all the blocks together. You want to make sure they're as straight and even as possible. Now that all the blocks are glued together, we have this one big block and I'm painting it white. I'm just doing 1 coat of white paint because we're going to cover most of it up. I'm going over the white paint with brown paint and I'm dry brushing it on. I started doing light washes of brown over top, but I'm adding more and more until the block is mostly covered with the brown paint. I love this dry brushing technique because it allows some of the white to still show through, giving it a nice rustic farmhouse look. To make the labels for my mini faux stack of books, I'm going into Cricut Design Space and adding a rectangle the size of my surface, then adding the words pumpkin spice, autumn leaves, apple cider, and hay rides. I didn't really like the spacing of some of the letters, so I ungrouped the words and I'm moving some of the letters until the placement is how I like it. Then I'm regrouping the words, and now I'm selecting all the words and attaching them before clicking Make It. I cut out the words on white vinyl, which I'm now transferring to my transfer paper, then onto my stack of blocks. All these little letters can be difficult to work with, so before using my transfer paper, I stuck it to my pants a few times to make it less sticky. This really helps with getting delicate pieces of vinyl to stick to your surface. I'm now wrapping a piece of twine around my stack of books and tying it into a bow. For the finishing touch, I'm adding this sunflower to the bow on top of my stack of books. Here is the finished stack of mini faux books. My next mini DIY is a wooden block with a vinyl pumpkin on the front. I'm using this wooden block from Dollar Tree. I mixed some of this orange and white paint from Dollar Tree together to get a softer orange color, and I'm covering the wood block with it. To give it a bit more of a rustic farmhouse look, I'm lightly dry brushing on some brown paint over top. I found this free pumpkin SVG online, and I'm going to cut it out and stick it on my block. While I was weeding it out, I accidentally ripped the vine part of the pumpkin, and instead of trying to salvage it or recut it, I decided to just go with the more simple look of the pumpkin with no vine. This is the finished little pumpkin block. It is such a simple, cute addition to the fall tiered tray. My next fall mini DIY is a little fall sign made out of blocks. I'm using 12 of these dark brown tumbling tower blocks from Dollar Tree, and I'm putting them all together to make a sign. I'm arranging the blocks so they are 3 across and 2 high with the blocks oriented vertically, and I'm hot gluing them all together. Of course, if you can't find these blocks that are already this dark brown color, you could paint the lighter blocks to be whatever color you want. Now that the blocks are all glued together, I'm lightly dry brushing on some white paint over top. Since these blocks are already a reddish brown color, I wanted to add the bit of white on top to keep the rustic farmhouse theme going. I found a bunch of fall themed SVGs online, and I'm adding them to my block sign. I have 2 leaves and an acorn. I added a rectangle the same size as my sign, like I did with the mini stack of books, just to give myself a visual of what the images and text will look like when it's all finished. I'm arranging the leaves and the acorn and adding the word fall. Once everything is how I like it, I'll delete the rectangle and attach all the other elements together. I cut out the design on white vinyl, and I'm sticking it onto my wood block sign. And here's the finished fall sign. Next up, I'm making a fall tag using one of these galvanized metal tags from Dollar Tree. I'm starting by painting the tag brown, mixed in with a bit of white paint. I wasn't loving how it was looking, so I went over the whole thing again with just the brown paint. This tag took some trial and error, but I'm now going over it again with white paint. This time I'm dry brushing it on. I'm blending the paint together as much as I can, so it gives it kind of a whitewashed look over top of the brown that's still poking through. I cut out the words "Hello Pumpkin" on black vinyl with my Cricut, and I'm sticking it onto the tag. I do think white vinyl might have stood out better, but I'd already done white vinyl with 2 of my projects for the tray, and I wanted to mix it up. To add onto the tag, I threaded some wood beads onto a piece of twine. I ended up using 7 beads, 3 larger ones, and 4 smaller ones in between. I'm tying the twine onto the tag, and I'm adding hot glue to the end of the twine so the knot stays in place. Once all my beads are on, I'm tying a knot and again adding a bit of hot glue so the knot is secure and the beads don't fall off. I'm now taking this sunflower ribbon from Dollar Tree and I'm tying it into a bow and adding it to the tag at the base of the strand of beads. Here is the finished fall tag. I love the addition of the beads, and the ribbon adds that little pop of color. The smallest addition to my fall tiered tray are these little wooden acorns from Dollar Tree. First, I'm painting the main part of the acorns white. Now I'm painting the tops and bottoms of the acorns brown. I started out dry brushing some brown paint over top of the white, then I slowly added more and more paint until the acorn was mostly brown, but I also blended in some white paint to distinguish it from the tops and bottoms, which are the solid brown. And that's it, my little acorns are done. I decided to leave them pretty plain and just sprinkle them into my tiered tray. The last two elements of my fall tiered tray are these wood block apples. I actually made these in my last video, which was an apple-themed Dollar Tree DIY video. So if you want to see how I made these, I will link that video for you. Here is the completed fall tiered tray. Everything besides the vinyl stickers is from Dollar Tree, and I just love how it all turned out. This was my first tiered tray, and I had so much fun making it. Let me know which of these minis is your favorite. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time.